Hi guys, I'm Heather Rodriguez, and today we're going to be talking about how to get started using fertility herbs. So fertility herbs is one of my favorite categories in the natural fertility world because I'm an herbalist first and foremost. I've been an herbalist for, 20 something years now. I don't even want to count, well over 20 years. But herbs are just so incredible. There's so many different things that herbs can do, and you can definitely use them to your advantage on your fertility journey. But there's so many herbs, so where do you start? So there's a couple different things that we're going to jump into now. The first is how herbs help with fertility. So kind of understanding what herbs capabilities there are, what herbs can do for you, what your expectations should be. So the first is herbs can help with a lot of different things. One of the main things we like to use herbs for is hormonal balance, helping with hormones. There's a lot of different ways that herbs do this. Each of the hormonal herbs that we use do something different. So it's not just like you take any of these herbs and they're gonna have a hormonal effect. You need to kind of pinpoint the herb for the situation and what you're trying to do. Herbs are also wonderful for helping to support the liver. That is one of the most important things that you can do when you're starting to use fertility herbs. The liver, one of the many things that the liver does, the liver is so amazing in the body, but one of the main things it does as it pertains to fertility is it actually helps the body to get rid of excess hormones. So that's very important. The next is herbs can help to support the nervous system. Going through infertility or having fertility issues is very stressful, or when you're actively trying to conceive and it's not happening in the time frame you had hoped, it can be very stressful. So supporting the nervous system is important. Also, making sure that your cortisol levels and your stress is kind of managed. I mean, of course you're going to be stressed, but if you can manage it as much as possible, herbs can help you with that. That can also in turn have an effect on your hormonal system and hormonal balance. Herbs can also be nourishing. There are herbs that are very nutrient rich, very high in iron and minerals, which are all going to be really important. So you can use them like food. There's herbs that can help increase circulation. Increasing circulation is fantastic for the reproductive system, helping to bring oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood to your eggs, to sperm, to all the different organs of your body, including the uterus, the ovaries, so everything can function at its best. So don't discount the effects of healthy circulation. The other is herbs can help to reduce inflammation. Inflammation is actually involved with a lot of different fertility issues, causing a lot of different problems. So for instance, when it comes to PCOS, inflammation can be produced from insulin resistance, and that inflammation can in turn cause testosterone and other androgens to increase. So anti-inflammatory actions of herbs is fantastic. Also, herbs can be endocrine support. The endocrine system is all of the organs that are involved with producing hormones and orchestrating the hormonal cycle. So supporting the endocrine system is very important as well, and herbs are fantastic at that. So there's a lot of different types of herbs. In the natural fertility world, we use a lot of herbs that are tonic herbs. Tonic herbs are generally very gentle, can be used on a daily basis. They need to be used long-term to see an effect, but they're very nutritious and they support a whole system. So tonic herbs are very important. We also use herbs that are specific to certain systems. So you'll hear me talk about the endocrine system a lot, the reproductive system, the nervous system. All of those systems, you can use specific herbs to help to support the whole system. So then again, it's working at its best, and then you're getting the results of ovulation, healthy uterine lining, those different things, because the organs and the body system is working at its best. So when we're using herbs, we kind of step back and look at the whole body and the whole system. We don't necessarily pinpoint something and say, okay, you're not ovulating, what herb do I use to force ovulation? That's not how herbs work. That's not how we work with herbs. So when it comes to ovulation, we're going to support the endocrine system so the hormonal balance is working, so all the triggers along the way of what an egg needs to go through in order to mature and ovulate are functioning properly. We're going to look at nutrition. We're going to look at a lot of different things that affect ovulation. So in turn, when all those things are supported and balanced, ovulation will occur. So it's very different. It's not like medications at all. There's also nutritive herbs. I kind of touched on that. It's nice to have nutritive herbs in your life to really help to support you. We all need more nutrition. And then hepatic herbs. So we're going to look at herbs that also have an effect on the liver again, so that we can help the body in its natural detoxification process. So those are the types of herbs. Now it's like, where do I start? How do I pick an herb? How do I know which herb is for me? So there's a couple different things. I'm going to kind of give you some guidelines and then some tips. So the first is to always support the liver. When you're getting started with using herbs, it's really important to use liver herbs. That's a great place to start regardless if you're a man or woman, what your fertility issue is. Always either include a liver herb in your formulas or make sure you're using that as part of your program. A really simple liver herb to start with could either be dandelion root or milk thistle seed. You can find dandelion root in your backyard. Milk thistle seed is not very expensive. It's very effective. There's a lot of actual studies on milk thistle and the effects on supporting the liver and liver regeneration so the liver can function at its best. So supporting the liver. Why is that going to be important? Hormonal regulation. Also, if you're experiencing acne on the chin line, if you're experiencing acne on the chest, if you are very sluggish and low energy, if you've been eating a diet that hasn't been the best, not the healthiest, support your liver. I think it's something that everyone should do periodically for sure. The next is to step back and look at what system is this problem located within. So for instance, is it the nervous system or the endocrine system? So let's say you have very heavy periods. That's the problem, right? That's the thing that you want to fix. Well, what systems is this problem using? So the first is going to be the reproductive system because this is something that's happening within the uterus. There's also the endocrine system because it's hormonal. There's also the circulatory system because if you have very heavy bleeding, there might be stagnation happening. So there's a lot of different systems that might be involved. So you can step back and look at the systems, and that'll help you to pick the herbs that are going to be best for what's going on for you. Another thing is to look at, like when we're doing consultations, what we look at is first, what is the most uncomfortable? The issue that's most uncomfortable, we definitely want to address at the beginning. So for instance, someone experiencing endometriosis, there's a lot of different steps and a lot of different things that we'd want to do, but we definitely want that person to feel more comfortable, and we want some of that pain to go away that the endometriosis is causing. So we definitely want to address that, as well as then looking at the hormonal system, helping to regulate and support normal hormonal function for that person. And then also, what issue have you been experiencing the longest? So now, you found something that's going to help with the most uncomfortable, and then you're going to look at, okay, what's the thing that I've been experiencing the longest? Some people ask, how long does it take for herbs to work? How long until I see results? There's a kind of a rule of thumb that for every year that you've had an issue, it's going to take a month to begin to see results. We say at least 3 months here because a lot of the herbs that we're working with are going to have an effect on the hormonal system. And there's so many intricate steps to that. It's like a big orchestra. And in order for changes to be made, it takes some time. So you have a whole monthly cycle happening every single month. It's going to take some time to see those changes to the period, to your ovulation, and so forth. So be patient. The other thing is to do some research. On our website, Natural Fertility Info, we have so much research on all of these herbs, all these natural therapies. Do research, start learning about these things and how they affect the body and what you can do. But it can still be hard. Once you've done that research, you're going to have like 5 different herbs that do what seem to be the same thing. So you're like, which one's going to be right for me? Working with a practitioner is invaluable. It will save you a lot of wasted time. We offer natural fertility consultations. These are personalized based on your health history, where you actually speak with our herbalists. You actually have a program that's made specifically for you. We've worked with a lot of people that will actually come to us with this huge list of herbs and supplements and things that they're taking, and we actually whittle that down to what's going to be most specific that's going on for them. So it can be hard because there's so many options, but that's also really good news. That's awesome that you have so many things that you can pick from. I'm going to mention in a little bit some herbs to kind of get started with learning, to look into what our most popular fertility herbs are, so you can kind of have a place to get started as you're learning. So the next thing that I do have to mention is herbs are really great for helping with different fertility issues, with helping preparing the body for conception, but you have to have a healthy foundation. There's not just like this miracle herb that you're going to take and that's all you have to do. When it comes to natural therapies, it's a whole lifestyle. You need to address any type of diet or nutritional deficiencies that you have. There are actually herbs that are wonderful, but they will not work if you have not addressed nutritional deficiencies. So for instance, when it comes to PCOS, the main thing for PCOS is to make lifestyle and dietary changes. If those are not made and insulin resistance is not managed, it doesn't matter how much Vitex you use, saw palmetto you use, they're not going to work as well until you have the main cause of the issue under control. When it comes to endometriosis, you can take all the pain herbs that you need, but there may be some foods that you're eating that are causing constant inflammation that you need to look at, such as gluten and red meat. So there's things like that to keep in mind, that it's not just about herbs, herbs are part of the whole picture. And they're absolutely incredible, but you really do need to look at some of those foundational things like we covered in the Fertility Foundations course that started with this whole email series. Now we're gonna look at what forms of herbs are the best. So you can get herbs in tincture, you can drink herbal tea, you can get powders, you can get capsules. What's the best? So the first, my kind of first rule of thumb is what's going to be the easiest for you to take, because the only way herbs work is if you take them regularly. So what is going to make it so you're most compliant with the herbs that you've chosen? So I generally find for people, capsules are probably the easiest. You can plan them out in the morning, you can set them out for the day. So capsules tend to be really good. I personally do love tinctures and extracts. Those are very easy to use. You can just put those drops right into some water or juice and you can take them. So you could take all of your herbs in that form. They do have more flavor to them, but I think that's part of the experience. I think there's benefits to having those bitter flavors, those herbal flavors on your tongue. You can also use herbs in powder form. I personally really love gelatinized maca. That's the maca that we have. The fiber's been taken out. That's what gelatinized means. It has nothing to do with gelatin. It has a nice malty taste to it. You can put it in smoothies. You can put it with yogurt, with oatmeal. So there's a lot of ways that you can use it, especially something that you're using on a daily basis. It's nice to have many options on how you're going to use it that day. Another form of way to use herbs is tea. So tea is wonderful, but you can't use every herb in tea. So for example, I would never drink straight Vitex tea. You could, but it tastes like perfume. So when it comes to like Vitex, I like that in a tea blend, like Conception's tea. But there's some teas like dandelion root or milk thistle that are great as a tea, or red raspberry leaf. Best way to use that is as a tea, because the water element of it's going to pull those minerals out, and that's one of the best ways to extract minerals and nutrients, whereas some other components of herbs actually need to be ground and used as a capsule, or need alcohol to extract those components. So it depends on what type of components and what that you're trying to get from that plant. So there you go. I wouldn't necessarily do like a raspberry leaf tincture or extract. I would do a tea, whereas a lot of the other herbs are going to be best in capsule or in tincture form. Long, short answer. Where can I get my fertility herbs? So to be blunt, we have the Natural Fertility Shop. That is one of the reasons we started our shop. Was it is very hard to find these specific fertility herbs. These herbs generally aren't used for other reasons. So that's why we have Natural Fertility Shop. You can get any of these herbs there. All right, so which herbs should you start learning about? Which ones are that are used widely, that are some of the most popular? So I'm going to share this list with you, but this doesn't mean, okay, now go and take all of these herbs. Do research about them. Find out, does this fit what's going on with you? Reach out to us. Send us an email if you need some help. So here are some of the top fertility herbs that we work with. Vitex. Vitex is one of my absolute favorite herbs. It's incredible. Maca, another tonic herb. Maca can be used for both men and women. Shatavari, this is a great tonic herb that's going to be, the name translates to, was it woman with 1,000 husbands or something like that? It's a fertility herb, right? Ashwagandha, fantastic herb that's great for helping to support the thyroid as well as the nervous system. So it's one of those tonics that is actually calming. A lot of tonics can give you more energy, like ginseng and those things, but this is a calming one. So ashwagandha is fabulous. Tribulus, this is a great herb for both men and women. Red raspberry leaf, wonderful nutritive herb to get started with, very specific for fertility. And then milk thistle, again, that's one of my favorite liver tonic herbs. There's lots of different herbs, but those are some ideas for you to get started on what herbs to start learning about. And again, you can find all of this information on naturalfertilityinfo.com. If you like these types of videos, you can join us at naturalfertility.com. We also have Natural Fertility Empower, which is our learning platform where we have all kinds of natural fertility experts educating and teaching on various topics to help you. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.